Hey, so I'm going to be documenting creating a landing page. And the first thing I'm going to do is I've logged into the account and there's a lot of updates that need to be done. And I don't want to get into a situation where I can't do something because a plugin needs to be updated. So first thing I'm going to do is go to updates, and you should read about each update under the changelog. This is like a mini lesson in updating. So for example, to do that, I would go to plugins and you could do view details and you would look at the changelog and read each update. I've already done this for most of these plugins, so I'm going to go ahead and update them. You can also update them directly on this page if you just want to do a couple at a time. And often I'll just update one or two at a time and like check the website and make sure there's nothing crazy. If you check the website, by the way, in the middle of an update, do not panic if you, well, I can't catch it. It might say, hey, dip down for maintenance. So WordPress automatically shows a little message if it's actively updating something, and then it gets rid of it when it's done. Now that all of those are updated, oh, pausing. Okay, just make sure that you manually update that plugin when it's got an update ready. Okay, if it asks you to update some data, go ahead and update the databases. It's just going to be necessary for things to run. And then you can go up here to updates, and we're going to go ahead and update all your themes. Again, you would want to go read the changelog and make sure there's nothing that's going to break your website. And then we're going to go back to updates. And I always wait a couple weeks before updating to the new WordPress. In this case, this one's showing to be pretty stable, so I'm going to go ahead and update you. And after you update WordPress, sometimes there'll be more plugin updates, but in this case, I think you're actually okay. And you can click check again, and that should check for all the updates. So now that we're updated, let's just double check and make sure nothing's looking funny. I think everything's probably going to be okay. Yeah, everything looks fine. So now what we're going to do is we've got some images, and the hex codes, those are great. So I'm going to go ahead and just save the images and get them on the WordPress website. So I'm going to increase it bigger. I'm just going to right click and do save as picture. And we'll just do logo, and I'm just going to save it to the desktop. Okay, so now that I have those saved to the desktop, we're going to go ahead and optimize them. The quickest way of optimizing them is just uploading them to tiny PNG and then just re-download. So I'm gonna do that real quick for all of them. All right, I just did that with everything. Still looks just fine. Next, I'm just gonna go ahead and upload that to the media library because I know I need these images. It's usually easier just to go ahead and start with them on the media library. That way you can find them pretty quickly. And now they're available to put anywhere you need to. Now in this case, the client made a cool outline of what she wanted her landing page to look like. And this one's going to be pretty straightforward, so we're just going to follow this. If you have trouble thinking about designing on WordPress, designing in PowerPoint and then just exporting to the PDF is such a good idea. It's easier to kind of design that way than necessarily design on the go. So let's go start a new page. So I'm going to go over here to pages, and I'm going to click add new, and you can call this whatever you want. I'm just basing it on a title that she had. And I'm going to go ahead and click publish, and then we're just going to do edit with Elementor. And if for some reason it has trouble loading, just click enter and it'll reload. Okay, so a few things here. So you see where this says edit single? A lot of people click on that. So this is such a tricky thing with Elementor. So if I click edit single, it's going to take me to this page template, and that's essentially saying, what do you want to show? And you'll notice this says post content. You don't want to edit this. Like, this is not where you want to be, because what happens is, let me go and show you a different thing. Like, okay, so the best example I could find was this wish list page. So it looks great. If I go to edit page, this one's not edited with Elementor. You can just type in whatever, and I'm going to try, this is a test right here. I'm going to click update. And then what happens is that Elementor takes that post content and sticks it here. If I wanted to edit the single page template, and again, I'm gonna do this super quick and then just delete it. So if I wanted to edit the page template, you'll notice that I'm gonna do text, and we're just gonna put it right here. And I'm just gonna put like a single little dot here. And we'll do 3 so we can see it. Okay, so I've updated this page template, and what happens is now there'll be like 3 little dots under every, probably under every page. That one's not on the template. Yeah, there you go. You see how those 3 little dots are there? So any page using that page template is now going to have those 3 dots. And I'm just going to go ahead and delete that because that was just a test. I'm also going to delete this right here. So this is the content, or if I edit it with Elementor, that would be the content, and the content goes into the page template. I know that was probably clear as mud. So let's go back to what we were originally doing. So I'm going to go back to pages. I'm just going to close all this stuff out. All right, so I'm editing this one with Elementor. So you'll see right here, that's that template, and right here would be the content. But I actually want this whole thing to be a complete separate Elementor page. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to come over here to settings, and for page layout, there's a couple things that you can do. If you didn't want to have the header or the footer, then you could do Elementor Canvas, and the entire page is ready for you to design. And so I'm just going to add a random thing, and we'll click update, and then I'm just going to view the page, and you'll see that this whole page is just that right there. But maybe I want to have the header and footer, so I'm going to do what's called Elementor full width. So that says I'm designing this page, but I want to have the header and footer there too. So we're going to leave a header and footer there for now. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this random thing that I did. So now I am ready to start designing. The first thing on my list is just some text. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add that as a header text. And I'm going to do a couple things to prep me. So I'm going to go ahead into this section. I'm going to go to advanced. I'm going to make the margins and the padding 0. I'm also going to do the layout full width. That's going to make it go from end to end. Then I'm going to do the same thing for this column. I'm going to go to advanced 0, 0. And I'm going to do the same thing for the actual module. And this puts me from like the very tip of the website to the very tip of the website. Now I can adjust that later, but I prefer to start at 0 and then go back and add padding. All right, so let's start doing a few other things. So let's take this section, and I'm going to do style, and we're going to do background type, and we want to do a color. Now you have with these things called global colors, and it makes it super easy to update and change in the future. And I actually want to go ahead and add our hex codes as saved colors. In some cases they already are down there, but I'm going to go ahead and make some of them my primary and secondary colors too. So in order to do that, I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to go to site settings. I'm going to go to global colors, and I'm going to open up my color list here. And we already have some of them, and I'm just going to rename them real quick. Now I'm just going to go ahead and change the text color to black. That's pretty traditional. And we're going to make our primary color, and we'll make our secondary color this purple, which may already be there. Sorry, I keep clicking that. See, that one's already there, so we may just leave that. The pink was slightly different though. And then we have this light pink, which is different, so maybe we'll just make that the secondary color. And then for the accent color, she uses this turquoise a lot. We may already have this turquoise. Let's look. No, it was slightly different. Okay, and then I'm going to add the green is slightly different. So I'm going to do landing green. And I'm going to do the yellow. Okay, so I have the yellow, I've got the turquoise, green, I've got the pink and the dark pink, and the purples there. So those are all available for me to use. And now anything that I assign to these global colors will change throughout the site. So if I later decide I want a slightly different pink, if I change the shade, anywhere that pink is assigned, that shade will change. It's kind of cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and click update with that. And then I'm just gonna close that out, and it's gonna take me back to the page I was editing. So now I'm gonna go to section, style, background, and for my color, I'm doing that. Now obviously that looks horrendous, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and start editing that text. I'm gonna click edit the text. I do know that I want it centered, and I want it to say year-long standards-based reading assessments. Perfect. So in this case, I want it to be white. So I'm gonna go over here to style. We're gonna do text color. We're gonna make it white, and it is in all caps. So I'm gonna click typography, and we wanna do transform uppercase. Perfect. Now we're gonna work on the typography. And again, I don't I don't know what font this one actually is, so that can be changed later. So for now, I'm gonna use one that she does have on her website. And let's do, it was Barlow. And we're gonna size. I do M's, it's just a relationship to what's standard on that website. If you wanted to do something like pixels, then maybe you want it to be 45 pixels. And obviously we want to have it, have some padding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit that and come over to advanced, and let's do padding all the way around. I'm just going to try 40 pixels. That looks pretty good. And maybe we want this a little bit bolder. So again, I'm going to edit the text, and I'm going to come over here to typography and weight. Let's try 700, which is bold. Yeah, that looks pretty good. If you did want it to be 2 lines, standard base reading assessment, the easiest way honestly to do it is just do Shift Enter. And that should update. There it goes. And if you want more space in between it, you can do style, typography. Why did that jump back? You can do typography and do a little more line height. Okay, if it's really not working, go ahead and put a break. There you go. That's the break tag. I don't know why that wasn't accepting an enter. All right, next, so that part's done. Notice it goes to edge. We have some padding here. And by the way, I'm gonna come back at the end and do mobile optimization. So now here we've got essentially 2 columns. So we're gonna go ahead and do intersection. And with the intersection, I'm going to start by taking out the margins and the padding because we will add them back. And then here you have an intersection as well. I always kind of reset to 0 and then go from there. It's so much easier to adjust it later if you know you're starting at 0, because it has some default settings, but it doesn't show you the default settings. All right, so here we are. We have an intersection, an outer section, and I left it I'm going to do my intersection full width, but my outer section I'm going to leave what's called box. Let's see if I can grab that. Oh, it's so hard to grab. If you can't grab it, right click and do navigator, and then it's easier. So now I have my section. Oh. By the way, Control Z or undo is your friend here, and that will go away. So again, I'm on my section. I'm going to layout. I'm going to keep that as boxed because I kind of know that I don't necessarily want this end to end. I want that as more of the actual main part of the website. So here they do have a video embed. So let's do video, and they have just like a placeholder one, which is totally fine. And we have 2 text things. So I'm going to go ahead and just add 2 text editors. Perfect. Right, next, let's grab the actual text. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to paste it so it's unformatted. I pasted it to the wrong one. Let's paste it so it's unformatted, and then we'll go back and format it. Again, I'm going to paste it here so it's unformatted. Pasting from a PDF sometimes can be kind of tricky. See, it has all these extra there we go. It had some extra spaces and stuff. All right, now let's format the text. So this was blue and a little bit bigger and centered. So I'm going to select that. We will go to centered. Let's do let's see, text color. We're going to do that accent color. Typography. We're going to do the Barlow, and we're going to make it a little bit bigger. And the weight just needs to be read a little better. 500 looks pretty good. And if it's starting to look funny, like, there you go. It just means that some of the spacing that I copied and pasted was incorrect. So that looks pretty good. I'm not sure I want my line height to be quite so close or quite so far away. There we go. So it's really just like playing around with it. And same thing here. We're gonna go to style, we're going to center it. The text color in this one, I believe, was black. And then it was a little bit bigger. So we'll have her be a little bigger. All right, pretty good. Now, the other thing I'm gonna do, of course, is just put some space between this. So I am gonna go to the column and I'm just gonna do some padding for this on the right. Let's do maybe like 25 pixels is a good place to start. And this one, I'm gonna do padding on the left and we'll do 25 pixels. And that'll ensure no matter what size it is, it doesn't get like squished right next to it. The other thing that you might wanna do is I noticed that you had this bigger, and this is so easy to change. Like literally just hit the column and go to layout, and let's make this column width, I mean, what would you say, that's like a 75-25? So we'll do 75, and that one would be 25. It kind of automatically does that. I'm not sure that I love that, so let's adjust it a little bit. Let's do maybe 60-40. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So I like that it's 60-40. You can of course come in and change it. The other thing I'm gonna do is collect column and vertical align. I'm just gonna do the middle, and that's gonna keep it, even when you resize it, this is gonna look very centered and pretty. All right, let's keep going. So we have another intersection, and this time we have a picture here and with a pink background. I'm not sure if you want that in the background or if you just want a picture here. So what we'll do is we'll come in here and I'll add another section. So I'm just gonna add another intersection, and once again, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna reset everything to 0 because I wanna start with a blank slate. I guess in theory you don't have to do it this way. I just personally find it easier. So now I have my blank slate, and we've got text and bullet points. So let's start with some text. And there's a couple of different ways you can do bullet points. You can do it as just a text editor. You can also do, I think this is icon list. I like this one, it's kind of cool. So I'm gonna show you this. So essentially you just come in here and you can choose your icon, and then you just would, we'll do what you did. Bullet point number 4. You can also just do this as just text. And if you want to indent it some, then I would go over here to advanced, and in this case I would add some margin, and maybe we'll add 25 pixels, and that'll shoot it over a little bit. And that's meant to be green, and again I'm probably going to have some funky spacing, so let's just test where the line breaks are. Awesome, and you had that in green. So I'm gonna go over here to style, I'm gonna do text color, and I'm gonna do green. Let's try the landing green, that's better. And then we'll do typography, and we had that Barlow, and we'll make that a little bit bigger. Weight, let's do 600, that looks pretty good. And if you want more bold, you can do 700. Line height, maybe not quite so much in between. Lovely. And then here I would just add an image, and I'm just gonna add a placeholder image. And then you can also just drag the columns to make them different widths, but I am gonna give some spacing. So here, oops, sorry, grab the column, then go to advanced. And here we'll do padding right is like 20, oop, wrong right. 25 pixels, and we'll do this one on the right is 25 pixels. And that'll just give it some space. And once again, if you want to, you can go to layout and do middle. You may not want to do middle in this one, that's up to you. So I'll leave that up to you. And obviously these are pretty close. So I'm gonna go ahead, and it's hard for me again to grab this section. So I did the navigator, so I can go and get this section. And let's just add some margin to the top. And we're gonna do maybe like 50 pixels, maybe a little more. I would add to the bottom too. Let's do 65. That'll just give it a little bit of space. And then here, we just have 3 pictures and a button, so this one's going to be pretty straightforward. You just come over here to the intersection. Notice it only adds 2, so we're just going to duplicate one of those columns. And again, I'm going to reset everything. You don't have to reset everything. You can just start with it like it is and then play around with it. This is just part of my personal workflow. Like, I'm probably just going to leave the padding on those columns because I know that I want it. So then we just add the image. Then you choose the image, and it was that reading purple one. And then we'll add another image. And this one was the green one. Then we'll add another image. And this one was the turquoise one. All right, next we're just gonna add a button. So we're gonna go to button, and we're gonna stick the button in that column just right under there. And we're gonna edit this button, and the link, I'll let you link here. Grab 3rd grade. So we're gonna grab 3rd grade, and we wanna center that, and you can make it a little bit bigger if you want. Let's go to style. Typography is pretty good. All right, so we're gonna change the color here to that pink. And then I'm just gonna copy the button. And sometimes Elementor tends to like grab, see how it grabbed that? Again, just click to undo if you ever need to adjust that. See, it does that so funny. All right, so that's done. And then you just edit the text of that. So this one will be grab 4th grade and grab 5th grade. And then you can come in here and add the link. And once again, I'm gonna do the navigator. Go up here to this section, and we're gonna add some margin to the top. Let's do another, not 478, but a nice 65. And something that's just kind of for fun. Let me show you what you can do. You can do it per item, or you can do the whole section. So I'm gonna do this whole intersection, and I'm gonna do motion effects, and let's do an entrance effect. And we're going to, let's do fade in up. I always think that's fun to have a little movement. So I'm gonna click update, and then I'll just kind of show you where we're at right now. All right, so I wanna put a little space here. So they scroll down and see how that kind of comes up. This adds a little movement, just kind of fun. All right, so I know, okay, so we wanna put a little margin. Padding, by the way, padding is within that section, and margin is outside of this section, but between the next section. So you wanna do like 65? Yeah, that looks good. Finally, we just have this little one. I don't know that you gave me these pictures. So I'm gonna insert a placeholder picture, and then you can just upload these as pictures. So we need 3 columns. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and let's do 0. I know the top one wants to be 65 for the margin. And we'll do that column is 0, 0. Intersection is 0, 0. We'll leave the columns as is, but in this case, I want that section to be full width. So I'm gonna go layout, full width, and let's go ahead and get that background in there. Background type is color, and we have that landing green. Excellent. And then we are going to have 3 pictures. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the image. And we're just doing a placeholder picture, so pretend that this is a review. Here's another review. Great reviews. And then this one is her logo. Okay, great. So when looking at this, she wants it raised a little bit. So what we'll do is I'm going to take this whole column, and we're going to go to advanced, and we'll go ahead and put in 0, Actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave the padding as is. I'm gonna unlink it, and for the top, we're just gonna bring that column up until it shoots up a little bit. And I know it's covering the space above, so what I would have to do is just compensate a little bit by adding some additional margin or padding. Oops. Let's go to the navigator, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that just so it doesn't look weird. So let's try adding, there you go. Then I'm gonna do the same thing here. Let me check what the number I added was. Oops, I did it on the column level, which is fine. -94. So I'm gonna unlink it. Ooh, let's just leave that default and we'll do -94. Oh, it won't let you type negative. All right, so go down. I always go down to 9. Weird bug. 94. Boom. And here, advanced, unlink, go down to 9. And add the 4. All right, so see, that's kind of jetting up a little bit. It's very cool. Now we have those tilted. All right, though we can do this with some coding, but I didn't want you to have to code, so I have a little plugin that will allow you to rotate. And if you want to go the other direction, you should. Will not let you rotate the other way. Oh, you just keep going. Hello, it's a circle. Sorry, need to go back to geometry. You just edit the rotation that you want. So we have that one that way, and this one that way. Great. And if you want to have more space between them, then you can just increase the padding. Like maybe we'll do 15, 25, and then we'll grab that and we'll do 25. Perfect. So that looks pretty good. Maybe you want a little more space. All right, so I'm in this section and I'm gonna add just a little. So I'm just adding a little more padding to the bottom, and let's add a little motion effect. Let's do an entrance. I'm gonna zoom in. Oh, that's kind of cool. You could take these out if you want. You just undo them. Entrance effect. You would just do none to get rid of it. So let's take a look at what this looks like now. Okay, spacing looks pretty good. That pops up there. And those make a little entrance. Lovely. Okay, now we're going to do just a little bit of mobile optimization. So I'm going to go to responsive mode. And let's just take a look at tablet. And I'm going to work a little bit on your header real quick. If you want to watch me do it, I'm going to just go ahead and can I open that in a new window? No. Okay, so we're just going to do it because that doesn't look good. I don't think I set this up. If I did. Ooh. Okay, so for this, let's just, we're going to make this 100%. And notice that it's only affecting the tablet. And we'll make this like 50%. And we'll make this one 50%. And we may even adjust this a little bit. You know what, let's just center that on tablet. Great. Okay, and I'm gonna do the header real quick on mobile. All right, that's fine on mobile. Header looks good. We're gonna reopen this. Sorry, I just couldn't leave it. It didn't look good. Now we can fix it. Responsive mode, tablet, much better. Alrighty. So scrolling on down. So I actually would go ahead and just make this full width on tablet. There you go, that looks fine. In this, we just need to add some margin, or let's do padding. On the right and left, we'll do 25, there we go. That's fine. And kind of same with this, we just need to give it just a little space so it's not quite so close to the edge. And notice this is only affecting the tablet. And that looks fine down there. Okay, what's down here? Your footer? Okay, so now let's do the mobile. So I'm gonna go back up. And again, I want this to be 100%. Something is not. Oh, we have some margins over here or something. All right, see how it's all shifted over there? I'm gonna see if I can figure out why this is shifted. So what I'm gonna do, no. Right click and let's do navigator. And let's see where the issue is. Oh, there it is. No, maybe that's not it. What is even going on? All right, sometimes it's just a hunt and peck, like what? Oh, that was it. See, it fixed it over there. And then here, we probably looks like we have some. So I'm gonna go ahead and reset those, and then we're just gonna take this whole section and we are just gonna give it a little padding. You don't need quite as much on mobile. That's too big. The text is too big for mobile, so let's bring it down a little bit, and the line height is too much for mobile. There you go, that's a little better. Okay, and I think we probably have the same thing with this section, is that there's some funky, ooh, that's not good. Some funky stuff going on. It's really just like trial and error and looking for it. Alright, I'm just gonna reset this to 0. And same thing with the columns. Let's just make this 0. I'm just resetting and then I'll go back and add. Okay. And then let's do, for the whole section, let's just give the whole sections maybe just a little bit of margin, and maybe we'll center that on mobile. There we go. And here, I think we added some, yeah, we don't need that. Oh, my mouse is going crazy. There we go. And I think I might just center that on mobile as well. Somehow. Can you center it? There it is. And we'll add a little margin just to give it a little space. Okay, great. And I'm going to keep scrolling. That looks fine. That looks fine. That looks terrible. Okay. So for this, so on mobile rotation, I think we want to do 0, 0, and 0. We probably want to do, oh, we did that on the column, didn't we? Let's not have it crazy up. And I'm going to do the same thing here. So just on mobile, we want to get rid of that like negative margin because it looks funny. All right, that looks much better. Because on mobile, you just want it to look like that. So then I'm going to go back and just double check and make sure I didn't mess up any of my other ones. Because sometimes even though they're supposed to have separate settings, it doesn't. That's annoying. But everything looks fine. So we have separate settings for the mobile and the tablet and all the other things. So I think we're pretty good. Let me know if you have any questions.